Alrighty then, this is Chuck Fasst with Gearheads. We're out here at the Ultimate Streetcar Challenge here, put on by Optima Batteries. They've come to Portland. We're at PIR. Anyway, we've got all kinds of muscle cars out here on the road course, racing as I speak. So, if you got a yearning to go fast, this is one good way to do it. Let's go check it out.
No problem. Have a safe drive.
Okay. All right, this is Chuck Fasst with Gearheads, and we're going to do a little feature here today on this Camaro. And this is
Ken Simo.
all right. Ken, you were telling me a little bit about this. This is one of the last. This is the last of the LT-1. Is that correct?
It is. Last year, the LT-1. It's actually a survivor car. It's a '97 Camaro SS. It's still all original paint, original engine, transmission, rear end, and of course totally. I got my DNA on every part on this car, and it's.
That's what you do when you race, right? That's the difference between him and some of the lawn chair jockeys that you see around.
Yeah, my wife wants to know when I'm going to be done working on it. And it's not going to happen, so this keeps getting better, hopefully. I go backwards sometimes, and sometimes I go forward.
He has a very good understanding wife. Understands it. You guys drove up here 600 and how many miles?
621 from actually from Orangevale, California, which is just outside of Sacramento.
Ah, yes. Yeah. I saw some of the instrumentation inside his car. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but you probably are pretty accurate on that. But yeah, so you drove 600 miles, and you were telling me this is your first Optima race as well.
It is. I went down to Fontana to the Auto Club Speedway for their event, but I didn't participate. I went and checked out the event and see what it's all about, and it was a lot of fun. It was well organized. People interacted together. It was exciting too, with all the cameras and the search for the ultimate street car.
Yeah,
they're talking about.
This event will be on MAV TV later this summer. I understand the first one just came out. I think it came out last night.
Yes,
I'm told. So yeah, they run all over the country. God, they were running what, a dozen different races, something like that.
Yeah, they've been all over the country, like you said, and they started at Laguna Seca, and I don't know all the places they've been to, but the West Coast was kind of Laguna Seca, of course the Auto Club Speedway in LA, and then here, Oregon. So
yeah, they're racing at pretty much most of the premier road courses in the country. That's pretty cool. It's good to see muscle cars out there, stretching their legs like that. Speaking of which, maybe we should take a peek at this now. You were telling me something I never knew. You're talking about SLP. What's the story on that?
Okay, well the car was originally built as a Z-28 from the factory, and then they sent it over to the Chevrolet, sent it over to the SLP factory, and then they did their modifications and then rebadged it as an SS, and then sold it through the Chevrolet dealers.
I never knew that. So this is a Z-28 SS SLP factory car, and you just said it's all original except for you touched every part of it. Maybe should we look under the hood? What you got there? I'm gonna move the camera. I'll turn it off. Okay, let's check this out.
Okay.
97 Camaro Z-28 SS SLP LT-1. Did I get it all right?
Very good. That was, it is a mouthful, and it's actually a really durable engine. It's an old school engine still, obviously, but they hold up well. People do need to know they need to keep an eye on the crank and the rod bearings, because my first problem was I spun a rod bearing at about 40,000 miles.
Really?
Yeah, they wore down. I knew they were getting worn. It wasn't noisy, but you have to do maintenance on them when you're tracking the cars heavy.
Hard, huh?
You're running hard. I started out autocrossing the car, and I had a lot of fun autocrossing it. I did have to put a power steering pump cooler on it to keep the power steering pump from squealing, getting overheated. That kind of was one of my first modifications. And then that just progressed into, of course, once the engine was apart, and a lot of things started happening internally.
Okay, let's take a little closer look at this thing. All right, so a lot of what's been done to this engine we can't see. However, I do see a set of pace setter headers on it.
Yes.
Definitely.
I broke down and put some headers on it, and with the headers and the right cam, it really started to come alive. The stroking the motor, out to 383 plus a 40 thousandths over on the bore really brought it to life.
383. I like that number. We run one of those ourselves.
It's they can't beat cubic horsepower, as we say. So
yeah.
Externally, there's not much you can say because the car meets California smog. The only thing the only thing I had change for tracking it after I smogged was the ventilation on the valve covers, because it builds oil up on long left-hand turns. It builds oil up on this valve cover, and it sucks oil into the intake through the PCV valve. So
let's take a look at this.
So I had to take off the PCV valve and vent the valve cover on this side, and the other side I vented it into a can, that red can over on the other side.
So you have a breather there, and then he has a little vent can here. So all you lawn chair jockeys, take notice if you ever want to get out here and try this. These are some of the tricks that it
oil
takes.
Building up in the right valve cover, once it builds up at high RPM and pulls it into the intake, you can't see out the back window of the car from the smoke.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was. I thought I lost the motor, but that was the good thing was it was that rather than anything more serious.
Okay, now I know there's not a lot to look at, but I'm looking at one thing right there. You have a ram air setup here on your hood, don't you? This is the SLP option that you talked about?
This is the factory SLP SS option.
That's cool. So it's got it all sealed up there on the hood. Nice fresh cold air.
So you can see the intake.
That looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah, so you qualify as a genuine gearhead. Old school, but kind of new, because this is a 4th gen Camaro you got here. What size are those tires?
The tires are the 275 40 17s. Those are what came on the SS, this year SS car, so I kept the wheels and the tires size.
Oh yeah, these are
factory original.
Both the same.
Yeah, so you could fully rotate everything. And they do fit under the brakes. Upgraded the front brakes to the C6 Corvette front rotors and calipers. The wheels fit over those, so that's a cool thing, because not all the wheels do.
Really?
So anybody.
Well, that's cool.
That's a good thing to know.
So, the Optima search for the ultimate street car. We should probably add that this series got its start over at the SEMA show down in Las Vegas, and they started racing. They picked out some badass cars and they went racing, and it developed into this series now. Pretty cool. They're about ready to have the awards, and you're gonna have to go up there and see what your times were and everything. So they got these cool decals. I guess they just kind of go on there lightly. You can peel them right off, huh?
You can, yes.
Cool. Do you run those? Do you take them off when you drive on the street, or?
I do. I take them. Well, I leave the windshield one on. The side ones, no, that's a little too obvious for me.
All right, this is his opinion right there, huh?
Yeah. Everybody likes that one.
I like it.
Yeah, there's the original license plate frame. Once the car went through the SLP.
That's the original
factory.
SLP license plate frame. That's
And
pretty
then
cool.
all of these cars too, they call it 2 on the left exhaust.
I see that. I was just going to ask about that. We have 2 pipes coming out right there.
Yep, and only 96 and 97 SS cars have that exhaust system on them from SLP.
Is it like 3-inch coming back from the cat, or?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
And then I put an electric cutout on this, which is really cool too. So I can bypass the muffler when I'm doing track events. So I just have a little switch on the inside, like a little James Bond kind of little thing that you flip and it opens the exhaust up.
You mounted that on your car, huh?
Yeah, it's all hidden.
Okay. So you were telling me about your music. Yeah, you got your exhaust cutouts here, and it's kind of like a counteract the rap music when you
Yeah, the subwoofers can, be a little irritating when they pull up next to you and don't lower their music. So I just cancel it out by opening up the exhaust and
I like it.
let it be heard. So
that's old school. Let it be heard. Let those words resonate. Let it be heard. You drove this thing 600 miles to come up here to Portland. I got to shake your hand for that, my man.
okay.
You know?
Yes.
Hanging in there.
Yep. I was hoping I'd make it here, and God willing, I'd drive it home, and it looks like that's what it's going to be.
It should. I've driven these cars. I had a 95 LT-1. Had 100 and some thousand before I was forced to sell it. But anyway, so this is a stroker. You went through the engine. What did you change internally?
Internally, the heads have been ported. Of course, port matching on the intake, the headers. Nothing out of the ordinary. I did go with what they call the beehive valve springs rather than double or triple spring. Yeah, they're neck down ones. Supposed to be better for high RPM.
Cool.
And also, the only thing that is compatible between an LT motor and an LS motor are the roller lifters. So I have LS roller lifters. Factory LS roller lifters.
So you run the factory bottom end on this. I know they're tough. The LSs and the LTs are tough bottom ends.
Yeah, it's a 2-bolt, and haven't had any problem with the bottom end. A very.
All right. Before we wrap this up, what's your red line?
Rev limiter is 6,800.
68. No kidding. Wow, that's a little bit above the factory. What it says on your tack, I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, I thought I bent the tack lead today too because I missed the shift.
Oh God. Wish I'd have caught that. All right. Well, this is way cool. You took your duct tape.
My duct tape cushions out to keep me in my seat better.
Okay.
I didn't use the racing seat. I use a factory seat. And I just took it and I put the shoulder harnesses right through the seat.
You cut some slots right through there, huh?
Slotted it in there and built a bracket for underneath the front for the crotch strap, and then I even left the electric seat in.
Right on. Well, we have a pretty much factory-looking SS here with some add-ons right there, and also a little add-on here is this 4-point roll bar which you bolted in. Now also you mentioned the what do they make you put in here when you race? You had electronic. You had to give them back.
Oh, the transponder for timing.
So all these cars run a transponder in them when you go out on the track.
Yeah, it's internal. It's actually has its own battery power built into it. It's a little like the size of a cigarette pack that you put in attached underneath the car, and then there's on the track they have detectors that pick up the signal.
I see. So that's how they get your times, huh?
Right.
Right on. Well, this has been really cool out here at Portland, seeing you guys show up here. I should probably show the people all your stuff here. This is everything that you carried in your car when you came up here from Sacramento.
Yeah, plus a
suitcase
and my wife's suitcase.
Okay.
She didn't want to check hers into Southwest, so she's got her ride home.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I like to see that. I'm not going to ask how old you are, but You got the street cred. That's the main thing.
We'll say I'm in my second half.
All right.
Second half of my life, anyway.
All right, there it is. 97 SS, LT-1, Z-28, SLP Camaro. We'll call that a wrap.